Oh yeah, they put. Jesus! Jumping the host pads. That's what.
There's a All right, we're starting to get close to 8 o'clock when the polls will close all across Pennsylvania. That's when we should start to see some reporting coming in. So right now we got nothing. We just have a list of names. But hang in there, we'll get them. I was out and about today watching people come into the polling places. It was pretty fun. Seeing all kinds of folks that I've kind of gone back and forth with in the past, but it was all pretty friendly today across the board, and pretty enjoyable just to kind of sit around and talk to some people that have some of the same views as me, some of the different views as me, but everybody's kind of getting along, so a good time all around the board. Polls are going to close in about a minute. All right. Starting to get some results in now. Oh, look at these. We'll go ahead and start editing our spreadsheet here just so we can track it in here as well. And we'll go through it. It'll be an opportunity for us to kind of go through this, all of our numbers together again. So we run through it. And if I see anything change, I'm going to call it out so that you guys can see it. But everything is very, very preliminary. We don't have any actual precincts that are giving us any actual numbers. So we're just basically looking at write-in information or mail-in information. I'm going to mess that up about 1,000 times tonight, so I apologize in advance. Okay. Supervisor at large. Mark Schmidt currently has 968 votes. Mercury currently has 404 votes and 1 write-in. I'm going to refresh my numbers here, and we'll continue on down the line. District 1, currently no change. Nicole Zeeland has 197 votes that have come in. Jeffrey Fleming has 78. Is there, and we'll go ahead and we'll call District 2. Since he's unopposed. District 4. I'm going to refresh to see if there's any change. No updates. So we're going to go ahead and put in right now at this time. Josh Wigand currently with 457 votes. David Harrison with 121. No write-ins at this time in that race. I should say, yeah, we got the write-in. There's 1 write-in currently for the at-large race. Bill Payne currently has 103 votes, running unopposed again. There are currently 2 write-in votes that have come in for that. We'll go ahead and give Dorothy Milbert her due over here. Okay. So a couple of things that we are going to know. We know that for our judge of elections, we know that those are going to be, those are unopposed primarily. So we'll go ahead and put our information in there. And if people are interested in those numbers, Dorothy Milbert currently showing 1,206 votes and 9 write-ins at this time. Inspector of Elections. Jerry Sweeney has 133 votes, running unopposed. And there's 8 write-ins that have come in for her. Against her, I should say. I don't know where our District 4 Inspector of Elections went, but we need to put that in there. Or Judge of Election, I should say. There we go. And at lock, the Republican running unopposed for Judge of Election in District 4 has 92 votes. There were 5 write-ins at this time. We'll get to the rest of these, and then we'll go back up to our school board. T. Harrison, 289 votes currently from mail-ins and 22 write-ins. Let's put these school director numbers in. Let me refresh it first, just in case something new has come in. And we'll see how that goes. So no new updates. We still have to fill in our school director numbers. The only update that we've received so far was right at 8 o'clock, which populated these numbers. Okay. Jonathan Majernik, 1065 votes. These are going to show up on the spreadsheet just a little bit weird, just because we're picking 4 and we're putting them on each on their own line. It's just a little easier to track. Christine with 1021. Christine Minnick. And then Jeremy L. Love with 961 currently. And Darlene Luddy with 877 votes currently. Dominic Distillo with 446 currently. I think what we'll do, just to make this a little easier to track, we're going to move everybody in on the same line, just kind of right next to each other, even though they are in different parties, but it's just going to be a little easier for everybody to see that. So it is interesting. So for the at-large candidate race, I'm just looking at the total numbers right now. So 1,373 votes have been cast. That's not bad, to be honest. It's an off election year. And we have, and these are just the write-ins. There's 275 votes currently cast with the mail-in ballots for District 1. Currently, we have 105 mail-in ballots cast at this time for District 2, which Bill Payne is running unopposed, with 2 write-ins. District 4, 578 votes cast. There's a lot of people over in that district. No write-ins. No change in the numbers. 457 for Wiggin and 121 for Harrison. And don't read too much into any of these numbers. These are 0 precincts reporting it. So don't go celebrating yet, or don't go crying in your beer just yet. There is practically no information that really has come in yet. So This is always the crazy time when everything is happening all at once, and you have to kind of be on your toes. So, all right, I can brighten things up over here now that I've kind of got everything, all of the preliminary numbers in there. Thank you guys so much for jumping in and joining. This is always, we did this during the primaries. It was a lot of fun for me, and just an opportunity to kind of watch, I don't know, do we want to say history happening? No matter who wins, it's, we're watching whatever is going to have an incredibly large impact on our township in the upcoming few years, all kind of going down tonight. So it's kind of fun to watch that go on. If you're interested in politics, if you like politics, this is kind of your Super Bowl right now, of just kind of everything that's going on. So you kind of watch, just like the Super Bowl, you watch kind of the teams kind of go down the line and position themselves and do whatever it is that they're going to do, and then you get into the playoffs, and certain people are eliminated and certain people are moving forward, and then here we are on game night, and we're seeing the actual effect of whatever has happened over the last period of time, whether you look back a year, all of the different things that have happened. And there have been a lot of things that have happened. There's we kind of came out of an oil and gas centric era where that was really driving the conversation, driving the vote, and that played out the way it did. And while that is still certainly in the mix, there were a lot of other things that have come out in West Deer over the last over the last several months, over the last year, that have really captured, it seems like, a lot of people and a lot of attention. We saw a large push towards increased transparency, specifically with being able to live stream the board meetings. We saw going into this year, the school board was already live streaming their meetings, and it left a lot of people kind of asking the question, why aren't we doing that for our West Deer Township meetings? So I saw kind of there was conversation about it in years past, but a big push really in February. I think when I talked to some of the candidates, and I talked to, I think, Nicole Zealand, she said in February, I think she said was the first meeting that she came in and brought that up. I was in attendance for that meeting, and there was after she spoke, there was a number of citizens, and I think myself included, asking, hey, it's not a huge lift to be able to bring visibility of what's happening in these meetings to the people, to the masses. And it was kind of nice seeing all of that kind of grow. It was a little bit of a movement. We saw in, I believe it was August, when the first meeting was live streamed. And I think that was pretty successful. Right now, it's the only meeting that you can go back and rewatch, and I've got to think that that's something that they are working on, or that they hope to change. Ultimately, according to the newsletter, whenever that came in, whenever they were talking about it in the newsletter, they mentioned that ultimately they want to be able to deliver the stream for everybody to be able to watch later, a day after the meeting. And maybe they tried that once, and they're running into some technical issues. I don't know, but I think that we can at this point kind of call that a win. Even though it's not 100% there yet, I think that there's a lot to be proud of in our district with the folks, with the citizens kind of pushing for stuff like that, and in that regard, and in that instance, getting a positive response from the Board of Supervisors to make that happen. And that, I think, deserves some recognition. They, they took money out of the budget to put towards something that the people were asking for. And I for one, really appreciated that push. Kind of like we always do, there was a lot of, and by the way, I am keeping track of these races. There's no changes here. If there is, I will interrupt whatever I'm doing to bring that to you. There was a big push to, for just a variety of development in the township. Every candidate that came on and spoke with me really had a focus on that. There are big PRDs that are coming into the area, and that affects a lot of things. That affects the makeup of our school district. That affects the makeup of the amount of traffic that shows up on our roads. We have a lot of people that love really the rural quality in West Deer. I heard that from, I think, just about every candidate that spoke on this channel. Everybody was really interested in keeping that and making that happen. And that's kind of nice to see. That's kind of nice to see and nice to have that there. No changes right now in any of the races. So the numbers that you see up here stand at this time. They were updated. The numbers you see here were updated kind of to the masses from 8 o'clock, 8:00 and 52 seconds is when they published the numbers that you see here. You are primarily seeing, really probably solely seeing mail-in ballot numbers here, where they were able to grab those and process those quickly. Because right now, across the board, there are 0 precincts themselves that are reporting. So these numbers that you see here are going to grow into really what the actual numbers are going to be. This is all very, very preliminary. So I would not, I wouldn't read too much into here. You might say, well, okay, somebody tends to have a bigger lead. Maybe we'll see that in the actual walk-in ballots that are going to come in, or maybe not. Maybe we have one candidate that tends to cater to those that are mailing in their ballots. We just don't know. So we will kind of keep watching that and see what's going on there. Still no additional precincts reporting at this time. Walking around uh, West Deer today, it seemed to me that there was a lot of activity at every polling place. Well, there was a lot of interest, captivated here, and I think a lot of it too had to do with the school board and all of the conversations and news items that happened in regard to that. I'm sure a lot of you know and were following the story of placement of school bus stops in certain proximity of, you know, potential child predators or convicted child predators, or it made big news. It made news across the state. It actually made national news in some instances, where everybody kind of had their eyes on our little community for a time, just to see what would happen and where we would land on this idea of moving bus stops when they are close to somebody that might pose a risk, a safety risk in some way or another, to our kids that are walking around in the community. And that's obviously the type of story that's interesting really to everybody. You know, whether you're a parent, or you have a little sister or a little brother, and a grandparent. You know, and people that maybe their kids are grown, but this is the community they grew up in and that they walked when they were young. People want to know ways to keep the kids safe, and that certainly made a lot of waves. And even to this, at this point in November 2025, it's still something that they're talking about. It's still something that's bringing a lot of people to school board meetings right now to see about kind of where we land on that. I found it kind of interesting because there is, they want a kind of an official stance from the school district on that, and I understand that does make sense. I do know in the past, if you had a reason to move a bus stop, you call the school district and they would just kind of take care of that for you. You know, they would make a judgment call to make sure that they're doing the right thing. You know, but if you called them and said, "Hey, there is, a potential, child safety risk," whether it's some of the stuff that we're talking about here, or just, a busy road, a proximity to a busy road, needing to move a bus stop, those conversations happen every year. They happen, Septembers are jammed packed with these kind of calls into the school district, trying to make things move and make things happen all the time. And that's got to be tough, right? They probably spent not only what they already knew historically, but they spent the summer just kind of setting everything up, getting bus routes moved and set up. And I would imagine that it's frustrating to get 100 or 200 parents calling every September trying to make a change there. And so maybe there is a tendency to kind of keep things the way they are and the way that they planned on having them. And I get it. But certainly when we're talking about potential, sexual predators that are in our community and in every community, to be honest, how do we, when we send our children outside to walk around, how can we best protect them? And, where they're just standing around, and that makes a lot of sense to me. That's something that we would want to make a, kind of a stance on that and figure out what's going on. All right, let's take a look. I think we're going to get some updated numbers here. Stand by. Let me see what I can put on the screen here, and we'll take a look at some stuff together. Okay. Let's get our stuff updated here. School director. 1 out of 11 precincts have reported in. We'll update these numbers. So Majernik is going to go to 1155. Christine Minnick's going to increase to 1091. Jeremy Love is going to increase to 1057. Darlene Luddy, with 1 precinct reporting in, is at 928. Dominic Distillo, 489. And there are currently 9 write-ins there. I'm not going to put that on the spreadsheet, but I'll keep you kind of abreast of what's going on there. Okay. Yep. So these are the updated numbers in their entirety. Again, no changes on the municipal elections. All right, we're continuing to watch these results come in. They're coming in slow at this time, so we have no precincts out there that have reported anything in. Other than one precinct in the school board election. The next possible update will be in 3 minutes, so we'll stand by for that. All right. There is an opportunity for them to update us in about half a minute. Okay, no updates came in. Yep, so this is where we stand at this time. Go over it real quick here. And again, you see all this percentage, 0%. We have no precincts reporting for any of the municipal and election officer elections. There is one precinct in that has reported. I think it's going to be District 8 that came in so far for the school director positions. Let me see if I can tell that, by the way. But don't read into these. I mentioned this a bit ago. Don't read into anything that you see here because it's just way too soon. Way, way, way too soon. None of these are going to be statistically viable at this point. You just have to wait a little bit longer for the various precincts to send in their numbers. And they just closed the polls at 8 o'clock. And if there was anybody in line, they're going to have the opportunity to come in and vote as well. Presumably that all should be taken care of by now. The lines aren't going to be so long that they will have had to wait an hour. But that can delay some of the results. So we're just going to kind of wait in and see wait for a little longer and kind of see where it's coming in. Yep. So I think we're kind of waiting until 9 o'clock before the next update may come in. We'll know here in a second here when they'll usually give me a 5-minute warning before something like that happens. Just talking to a few people as I was kind of standing out there at the different things that made a difference to people, what brought them out to vote. And I wasn't in every district. I was in District 1, and they have all of that fire department business going on there, which if you haven't been following along, there was a new fire tax that was approved a year and a half ago. And after the fact, there were some specific requirements that were put on what would be required in order for each of our 3 departments to receive that money. And there was some question and some difference of opinion between the township and West Deer Volunteer Fire Department number 1 about whether the financial requirements to report, if they were able to change those retroactively than what was originally in what was voted on. So if you don't know, there are, and maybe I can show you here, every fire department in West Deer is a nonprofit, and so they have to report their financials by law. And in fact, you can look up any department and really see a lot of information about what they're receiving and just how they're doing, how viable their finances are. And I'll show you how to do it. You can just go in here and type in, in this case, West Deer Volunteer Fire Company number 1 and 990. That's the form that each nonprofit has to fill in. So we'll pick on them, and we're going to look on ProPublica. Now, they will show us the financials up to, but not including the most recent year that was filed. So we can look at all previous years up until, in this case, 2023, because 990s for the year 2024 were just turned in April. So we'll see those. We'll see those in the upcoming months. But we can look, and this is a fire department that I belong to. You will see my name in here every once in a while because at one point I was a member of the board there. But this is the kind of information that the fire departments by law have to give out to the public, and because you are in some way contributing to the viability of these departments, and so there's an obligation to share this information out, and they do. And you can go through here and you can look year by year of what's come in and what's gone out. West Deer Township has asked for some additional information, some more detailed information about what's coming in, and the potential problem is that none of that was specified when there was a determination made about what specifically had to be reported out to West Deer Township. That was all put in kind of after the fact. So, at least in the opinion of West Deer Volunteer Fire Department. I mean, I obviously have an opinion about that, which you guys know, but just understand that that's kind of the root of the difference of opinion there. And there was a lot of conversation about that all throughout this year. It made a relatively large article in the township newsletter where a lot of things were said, and I think the fire department would argue that they were not well represented in that article to be able to share their side of the story and their opinion. But they weren't really afforded that. And, usually you aren't going to get afforded that in a township newsletter. It's kind of the township talking to you. There's not a lot of back and forth there. And in some of the ways they communicate, in a lot of the ways they communicate. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens there. There has been a lawsuit that has been filed on behalf of West Deer Volunteer Fire Department number 1. Against the township, and so it's all going to get played out in court, and we're going to kind of find out where it all lays out. I am a big transparency guy, as you guys know. I like my government to be open and available when you need them, or when you need to get information from them. My opinion on that is that when we're talking about the fire departments, um, they are nonprofit organizations that contract with the township. It's not the same thing as the government. You can't walk in to any of our fire departments and do, for example, an open records request, because they're not subject to that. It's just they're not a government entity. They're a nonprofit that serves communities. So there's not that same level of obligation there. And what the township would like is to be able to see exactly where every penny that comes into each of the fire departments goes. So it'll be kind of interesting to see that the paperwork for all of that. I just saw that posted on Wake Up West Deer on Facebook, and you can go in there and click through all the documents and kind of just read through what the lawsuit says. You can do that right now. Once we get to a less busy time, we'll be able to do some of that with you guys. But I digress, because we have some new numbers that are just starting to come in, I think. I'm going to refresh what we have here. Yep, definitely do. Okay, let's just read through this here. We're looking at this at the same time as the numbers come in, so you can read ahead. I'm looking at it for the first time, so I'm going to kind of slowly go through them and digest them, and then we'll get them on the spreadsheet as soon as we can. So quickly, in school director races, the numbers have changed, but the results have not changed. The top four is your Jonathan Majernik, Christine Minnick, Jeremy L. Love, Darlene Luddy, and Dominic Distillo. And Dominic Distillo is currently out where he's placed right now with 3 precincts coming in. He would not get that nod, but the other 4 would, but still far too early to say for sure. Skipping over to our supervisor at large position, 2 of our 8 precincts have now reported in. Currently, Mark Schmidt is in the lead with 1,230 votes. Vince McCurry with 727. And 14 write-ins. There have been 1,971 votes cast there. There's no additional precincts that have reported for District 1, so that is standing pat at 198 mail-in ballots received for Nicole Zeeland at this time, and 79 mail-in ballots received for Jeffrey Fleming, and currently no write-ins. So we're waiting to see those precincts come in. We'll go ahead and skip the supervisor race in District 2, since it is Bill Payne is running unopposed. Although it is interesting, as we mentioned about a half an hour ago, there is a write-in campaign for that election, and there is definitely we're definitely seeing some significance in that write-in ballot that's come in. So that's interesting. It's nice to see kind of those grassroots campaigns taking root. In District 4, with one of the 2 precincts coming in, we see Josh Wigand in the lead with 638 votes to David Harrison 223. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to get into there, because what I do want to see here is which precinct came in for District 4. Because now now we got half of the precincts in, and I'm wondering if it's the precinct where Josh Wigand is the fire chief, which would make it somewhat more, it would make them lean more towards him, I would think. Yeah. 2 wards there. It's just interesting to see. They're both of those wards are in District 4. So that's starting to become a pretty significant lead, given that we have half the votes in. But again, we have half the votes not in as well. So we're gonna obviously wait and see what's happening there. Still no precincts reporting in District 1. One of the 2 precincts reporting in District 4. Let's update our spreadsheet. All right, I'll continue to keep track of any updates to any of our races. But we'll get these updated in here. So, as we just discussed, let's update school director numbers first. So we now have 3 of our 11 districts reporting in. Mamaroneck now has 1,410 votes that have come in. Christine Minnick now has 1,402. That is neck and neck. Jeremy Love, 1,379. Again, right in the thick of it. Darlene Luddy with 1,214. Again, not far behind there either. Dominic Distillo doubled his numbers with 819. And as a footnote, there are currently 21 write-ins in that race. Updating a couple of things here. Okay. Supervisor at large. Let's update those numbers first. Mark Schmidt. Now with this is 2 of our 8 precincts reporting. Mark Schmidt now has 1,230 votes. Vince McCurry, 727 votes. And we got a long way to go. No precincts reporting still for District 1. I'm going to make sure that is still the case. That is still the case. Although I will update slightly. Nicole Zealand is now showing 198 mail-in votes. Jeffrey Fleming is now showing 79 mail-in votes. And still no write-ins. District 4, Joshua Wiggin, now with half of the precincts reporting, or one of the two precincts reporting. He currently has 638 votes. David Harrison, 223. And no write-ins at this time. Let's go ahead and update our judge of election numbers as best we can. Deanna Zorlias has 23 votes. In District 2. Annette Locke, that number is not right. That is going to be 304 with 14 write-ins at this time. And that is with all of the precincts in on that. Sherry Sweeney. They're now giving her 134 votes with no precincts reporting at this time. Still 8 write-ins. Again, those are going to be mail-in ballots. Let me see if any new updates have come in. Okay, we can update the numbers a little bit with the school board. One more district has come in. So now with 4 of the 11 districts in, with the most votes right now is now Jeremy L. Love with 1,514, followed by Christine Minnick with 1,507. Jonathan Majernik, 1,476. Darlene Luddy, 1,310. Dominic Distillo, 965. So now we have 36% of the precincts reporting in for that one. Dorothy Milbert, she's already won this, but let's just update her numbers. She has 1,735 votes with 25% of the precincts in and 14 write-ins there. Currently no change in the at-large numbers. 2 of the 8 wards have come in for there, which we had before. District 1, no change. 0 precincts have reported in District 1. The numbers we see there are solely for our mail-in ballots. No change in District 4, with 1 of the 2 precincts reporting in. We're still waiting on the other one. Bill Payne, we can go ahead and update his numbers. And District 2, they have 1 of the 2 precincts that have now reported in, which will now put him at 341 votes and 42 write-ins. And I think those are going to be the best numbers that are available right now. So the polls have now been closed for an hour and 18 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. And it's just getting you're starting to see numbers that are still not yet, with the, no race is even close to being called unless they're running unopposed. But, we are starting to see a few things that might be leaning in District 4 with a fairly significant lead for Josh Wiggin, with 1 of the 2 precincts already coming in. We still haven't heard anything in District 1 from the reporting precincts, so we don't know what's going on there. I seem to remember that they're always kind of, for some reason, they're always kind of slow to report. So we know right now, obviously, that Bill Payne With these kind of numbers, I don't think the write-in campaign is going to have enough steam with one of the two districts already reporting in a very significant lead there. So I think it's a pretty good bet to just go ahead and put Bill Payne in as the winner in Ward 2. Ward 4 is starting to get significant, and we have no significant numbers in district or in Ward 1. And for the at-large, we have 25% of the precincts in, with Mark Schmidt in the lead. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's take a look and see if there's anything new that's going to be coming along anytime soon. So the last time that we got numbers was 8 minutes ago at 9:18. They are currently not showing us anything new. Let's go ahead and switch our view here. So where we are right now, with a quarter of the precincts reporting in for the at-large race, Mark Schmidt currently has 62% of the vote. Vince McCurry, 36%, and the write-ins, less than 1%. So we can kind of look at the at-large and see kind of where the votes are coming from now. %. So we have a Schmidt lead, 62%, in votes coming from well, 65% lead, 65% lead for votes coming in from District 1. District 2, just a handful of votes that have come in there for either one. Nothing significant to report there. Same with District 3, not a lot of people coming out voting in supervisor election there, because the there's nobody running in District 3 other than the at-large candidate. But stay tuned. I think we'll see more coming in from them here shortly. With my eye on both pages here. District 4, a little bit of closer race in District 4, with Mark Schmidt having a more slim lead. He's getting 60% of the vote over there, so it's a 60-40 split. District 5, Vince McCurry actually is getting more votes in District 5 than Mark Schmidt. 183 to 168 votes for a 50 to 46%. District 6, 70-30 Mark Schmidt. District 7, 66-33 Mark Schmidt. And District 8, 72-28, 72% to 28% Mark Schmidt. With no precincts reporting, not a whole lot to talk about here. Most of the mail-in votes are coming in District 1. And a handful coming in District 2. All right. Doesn't look like anything new is updated since then. Thank you again, everybody, for jumping in and kind of watching this coverage. I love doing this. It's, as I said about an hour ago, this is the Super Bowl for me. I enjoy watching everything that has happened in the district over the last year that has brought us to where we are. I mean, realistically, over the last several years that has brought us to where we are right now. It's always so interesting to me. So I do appreciate that. I don't really say this too often, but I will say it now that if you aren't subscribed to this channel, please do so. It's a very free way that you can support the channel, and I really do appreciate it so much. It's a joy to be able to come on here and chat with you guys and talk politics, and a lot of people that watch this channel don't agree with me, and that's okay. That's okay. It's a discussion. I've talked to people out there that have changed my mind on things. I have people that from a distance that I had less respect for, that I got to get up close to and know better. These are the things that happen when you actually have conversations. And I really do appreciate that. So if you appreciate it, drop a subscribe to the channel. It's very much appreciated, or like this video, and that'll get shared out to more people, not even just tonight, but in the upcoming days, people that kind of want to watch this play out as it did. So very much appreciated. A lot has happened over the last year. We saw a lot of push towards transparency. We saw the township add live streaming to their offering as far as what they deliver to everybody, and the availability of their meetings and bringing the process of government to people that might not be able to make those meetings, which is so important. You know, when I was younger, you don't think about that stuff. You think about, you know, you figure everybody has all the free time in the world, and they are completely able to move around freely without any assistance from anybody. And you know, as you kind of grow up and you grow old, you kind of realize that there's a lot of people for a lot of very good reasons that can't come to those meetings. And sometimes it's as simple as they work shifts that don't allow that to happen. And it's nice to see them taking some steps. I do think there's a lot of work to be done there. Currently, if you look on their website, you can only access one of the 3 meetings that they have streamed so far, and that would be the August meeting. So I'm not real sure what's going on there as far as why they aren't regularly posting those. That's probably something that's worth asking. If you guys know somebody, or if you want to come to the township meetings and ask that yourself, I think that would be great. I would be listening with my ear kind of bent in, trying to hear what the reasoning is behind that. You know, they're using Zoom right now, and I have a lot of I use Zoom every single day for large amounts of time. It's not really that difficult to record in Zoom and to make that available. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, but you know, I have been using it for a long time, and maybe there's a learning curve that I'm just not anticipating there. So we will wait and see. So our ticker here says that there's an opportunity here for an update. Let's see what comes in, if anything. I'm going to go ahead and refresh, see what that brings us. I'm going to look at our spreadsheet here and kind of compare our numbers. Give me a second to just kind of look things over here to see if there's anything new. I'm not seeing anything significant. We'll do a little deeper dive here in a minute. Okay, we can update some of these school director numbers here. We'll go over that. Okay. So we now have 5 of the 11 precincts reporting in. And we see Christine Minnick leading the pack with 1,855 votes of the 8,300 that have come in. Jeremy Love, 1,806. So Very, very close there, but it doesn't really matter in that regard because we're picking 4 candidates here. Jonathan Majernik, 1,728 votes, and Darlene Luddy with 1,589. Dominic Distillo actually kind of making a significant kind of jump back into the race here with 1,287 votes. Right now, he's the odd man out, but we will wait and see how that plays out. We only have 5 of the 11th precincts reporting there. We now have 3 precincts reporting in for our supervisor at large. Mark Schmidt with 1,418 votes. Vince McCurry at 1,093 votes with 17 write-ins. No additional precincts reporting in for District 1, or no precincts reporting in at all for District 1 at this time. No change in District 4, with 1 of the 2 precincts reporting. Josh Wiggin with 638 votes to David Harrison, 223, and no write-ins. Okay. Let's go ahead and update the spreadsheet here and put our updated numbers in there. No significant changes there, except that we're almost half of the Deer Lakes precincts are reporting in, and we're starting to see things kind of solidify over there as well. But let's take a look. Let's plug these things in. So, as we said, we now have 5 of the 11. Majernik now has 1,728. Minnick, 1,855. Jeremy Love at 1,806. Darlene Luddy, 1,589. And Dominic Distillo with 1,287. With 5 precincts reporting it. So 1 additional precinct came in this last batch of numbers. Get that updated here to something valid. Mark Schmidt's numbers are now going to reflect 1,418 votes. Vince McCurry with 1,093. We'll look at that a little closer here in a minute. As we mentioned, no change in Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 4, no change. As we were saying prior to that last update, a lot of conversation this year about um, just an open government and transparency, and a lot of really back and forth. Um, just personally, I had a lot of conversations with, uh, with Bev Jordan that were very animated, which is fine. Um, and what we believe transparency is, and wherever you fall in that conversation, these are really important conversations to have. And we need to welcome the opportunity to share opinions back and forth in that regard. And what I hope to see with however this election plays out is that we continue to make those positive steps towards a more open and transparent government. And it's worth saying again, I really think that with this current administration, it is worth patting them on the back for bringing us something that we asked for, and they listened to, and they followed through on it. For whatever reason, but they did it, and I think that that's something that's worthy of a little bit of celebration. And you no matter where you fall, you take your wins, right? And that's one that I think that the folks on the current board, I think that that's a feather in their cap in my book. We saw a lot of conversation about the new township building. There was a lot of questioning whether they were forthright. The township was forthright enough about sharing the numbers of how much that township building cost. I did a video at some point during the year where I showed an opens records request that went to appeals from a person that was just asking to find out how much it cost to build that building. And I just remember finding that so shocking that's something that would go to appeals. Just asking the question, Sorry about that. Doing a little bit of an audio check there. I think we're okay. I have to pay attention to that stuff. If there's an audio problem, I don't hear it. And so I have to just like deal with my own sanity and figure out if there's anything that I need to be addressing. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. So if you're just joining us, and again, thank you so much for joining us. We are following all of the races in Westier Township, and the spreadsheet that you see, it might be a little hard to read. If I can make it bigger here, I will. Shows where we are with the current races, and where we are is in District 4, we have half of the precincts that are reporting, in Ward 4. with a fairly significant lead by Josh Wiggins. So that's probably the one that's starting to kind of solidify the most right now. But again, that's only half of the districts in, so we're going to stand by and watch. We have no districts, well, none of the two precincts reporting in Ward 1. So we don't really know what's going on between that race of Nicole Zeeland and Jeff Fleming. But we will have, there's an opportunity here for an update here in about 30 seconds. And we'll kind of see where that plays out. So bear with me. I'm going to leave you looking at this screen while I kind of refresh the screen over here. I'm not seeing anything significant that has changed. No. I'm going to update our tax collector numbers for Dorothy Milbert. $2,211 votes cast for Dorothy Milbert and 23 write-ins. And that's with 3 precincts reporting there. Take a little closer look at the at-large race. Let me bring that up here and we'll look at it together. Give me a quick second here. I'm gonna look things over real quick. See if there's anything at all that we're missing. Okay. Okay. Let's scroll through here. We have, let's just look first at the at-large. Overall, Mark Schmidt currently with 56% of the vote, with 1,418 votes cast to Vince McCurry, who is at 43% of the vote with 1,093 votes. There are 17 write-ins in that race. The way that breaks down by district. Again, we looked at this about 20 minutes ago. Mark Schmidt in District 1 is, he got currently at this point 65% of the vote. But again, that's a district that the precinct isn't reporting, so we're looking at mostly mail-in numbers there. I'm just trying to skip to the significant numbers. Okay, District 4, 59, so it's a 60-40 split. Again, not much has changed since last time we looked at this. In District 4, Mercury with the majority of the votes cast in District 5 at 50.27% of the vote at this point. 70-30 split for Mark Schmidt in District 6. Again, not significant. That looks like that they have not actually reported any precinct numbers from them yet. We are getting precinct numbers from District 7, and that is a 55-45 split in favor of Vince McCurry in District 7. So that's very interesting. And in District 8, we are getting precinct numbers from them. And it's a 72-28 split for Mark Schmidt. Yep, and you can see in this map, which is probably now something we can kind of zoom in on to get something a little more realistic. District 5, District 7, both leaning more towards Mercury at this very early stage in those numbers. Again, we're not getting, that's still an instance where there's a number of districts that we're not getting any significant numbers from. We're now approaching 10 o'clock. We still have no precincts reporting in District 1 or in Ward 1. Still just looking at mail-in ballots right there. If we look a little deeper at the school board, we can kind of now start to see the reporting districts and where their allegiances have ended up kind of showing up on the map. All right. No significant numbers in those. We are getting significant numbers with actual precincts reporting. District 7. Minnick currently receiving the most votes. And we're kind of seeing that across the board for these reporting precincts. in West Deer. Now in East Deer, we see Jeremy Love taking a majority of those votes so far. That's Fraser numbers we're looking at there. He has 25%. Minnick with 20.2%. And Majernik with 16.3%. And then we start to get into kind of some smaller districts that give us some less significant numbers. That's interesting. I see your comment there, Sam. Sam says, one thing I've noticed in school board elections is that the Republican candidates tend to add a lot of votes once the precincts start rolling in comparison to the Democratic candidates. I've yet to see a Democrat-only candidate beat out a Republican-only candidate in Deer Lake's school board election, so we'll see if these results hold. Yeah, and Sam, I don't think anything's written in stone right now either. It's funny. Do you remember the presidential election, Trump's first presidential election? And there was just a lot of conversation about, or actually it was to be a second one. There was a lot of conversation about those write-in ballots. Or those mail-in ballots. See, I told you I'm going to do that all night long. I'm going to mix those two terms up. And at that time, mail-in ballots was really a Democrat thing during that election, and it definitely played a role in that in how that election played out. I think the Republicans just in recent years, I think they realize that that mail-in ballots is an important thing to any campaign, and I'm wondering if, as the next several elections roll by, if it's going to be just fewer differences between the two sides in that regard. Let's take a look at these numbers here. Supposedly, there's a chance that something may have changed here. Let's see. Oh, those aren't the right elections. Bear with me. Okay. Well, we have one of our districts in for Ward 1. And it is a tight election. So we have, with one precinct of the two reporting in District 1, we see Nicole Zeeland holding on to a slim lead, 441 votes to 425 votes with one write-in. So that is neck and neck for sure. With 6 precincts reporting now for the at-large election, it is neck and neck. We see Mark Schmidt with 2,000 votes, Vince McCurry with 1,931 votes and 21 write-ins. We see in District 4 that with both precincts reporting, we see Josh Wiggin with the lead at 941 votes to 440. So we'll hold that open for just a little while longer because these are unofficial results. But that, presuming that they have counted nearly all of the mail-in ballots as well, and that there's not going to be any stragglers coming in from any of these precincts, which there really shouldn't be any more, then that district is going to end up going to him. So we'll hold that for just a few minutes here and just see if anything updates there. So let's take a look at our school director. Our school director with 8 precincts of the 11 coming in. We see Minnick and Jeremy Love with, again, neck and neck with 2,680 votes for Christine Minnick and 2,638 votes for Jeremy Love. So that's, again, we're voting in, they're going to select the top 4 of these 5 candidates. So it's just an interesting, race to watch. Not that it's going to make any significant difference in what we see across the various precincts. Majernik with 2,449 votes and Darlene Letty with 2,281. Dominic Distillo with 2,080 and 60 write-in votes. We'll put that on the spreadsheet here shortly. Again, if you missed it, we now have one of our 2 precincts reporting in District 1. It's a very, very tight race, just a handful of votes between the 2. We're Nicole Zealand with 441 votes to Jeffrey Fleming with 420 votes with 1 write-in. So we'll take a closer look here in a minute. Maybe we can tell which district or what precinct came in for that in Ward 1. Let's see. Ward 4 is Josh Wiggin against David Harrison. We now have both precincts reporting. It looks like Josh Wiggins going to take that one. He has a very significant lead, and presumably nearly all the votes will be accounted for here. Very, very close race across the board. Let's take a closer look at District 1. So in Ward 1, we see District 1 has reported in with wow, this is just it's incredibly interesting. So District 1 in Ward 1 has reported in, and Jeff Fleming has 411 votes to Nicole Zealand's 406 votes. So he has 50.24% of the vote in that district, with 1 write-in. And in the district that has not yet, the precinct that has not yet reported, we don't have very significant numbers in from there yet. But from the mail-in ballots, Nicole Zealand has 71% of the mail-in ballots to the 28.5% of the mail-in ballots that Jeff Fleming received. But that's only 50 total votes. So we don't know anything about how this is going to play out in District 1. We just don't know. That is a nail biter. Just looking real quick if there's anything that I missed here. Again, if you're tuning in just now, we have some significant results that are starting to come in now. our top 4 school director candidates. It's been consistently Minnick, Love, Majernik, and Luddy. Not that far behind though is Distillo, but he has been behind this whole time. But really, only 8 of the 11 precincts have reported in, and we don't know the demographic of those remaining 3 precincts. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens there. It's increasingly more difficult for Distillo to be able to overtake. Really, what it would look like now, it would be Darlene Luddy, but it's starting to really solidify there. Neck and neck in the supervisor at large race, 6 of 8 precincts reporting, and less than 100 votes between the 2 candidates. Less than 20 votes between the 2 candidates in District 1. And 50% of the precincts reporting there. Let's pull up the spreadsheet. And let's get it updated. All right. Let's get these numbers updated. So let's start with the school director candidates. So we have Minnick now with 2638. Give me a second. That didn't work. Love with Minnick with 2680. Love with 2638. Majernik with 2680. Look at that. That's crazy. And Luddy, 2281. Distillo, 2080. And as the footnote, 60 write-ins there. So again, I'm still typing these wrong. Let me put those in. 2449 for Majernik. I'm going to double check those numbers here because I messed it up twice as I was putting them in. Majernik with 2449. Minnick with 2680. Love with 2638. Luddy 2281. Distillo 2080 and 60 write-ins. %73% of the precincts reporting in there. All right. Let's get the spreadsheet updated with the supervisor races. As we mentioned a short time ago, neck and neck in a couple of these races. Just you can't predict really anything. There is 2,000 on the nose votes in for Mark Schmidt. 1,931 votes in for Vince McCurry and 21 write-ins. %75% of the precincts have reported in on that. So that could go anywhere. And also in a race that could just go anywhere. With one precinct reporting in, as we mentioned a short time ago, Nicole Zealand is holding a very, very slim lead. 441 votes for Nicole Zealand. Again, one of two precincts reporting in Ward 1. 425 votes and one write-in. And that's with 50% of the precincts reporting in. So 50s across the way in Ward 1, with Nicole Zealand getting 50% of the votes so far, Jeff Fleming getting 50% of the votes in so far, and 50% of the precincts reporting in so far. Let's jump down here to Ward 2 just to fill those numbers in. With me a second. Actually, no change there. We have those updated. 341 votes with 50% of the precincts reporting in, 42 write-ins, total of 383 votes cast. And that's going to end up going to Bill Payne. Both precincts have now reported in, as we mentioned before, in District 4. Let's just update these numbers where we are. We're at 941 for Josh Wiggin. David Harrison, 440 votes. Currently no write-ins. 100% of the precincts reporting in. And I think we can move him over into this category, into the winner category right now. So he is the incumbent candidate in Ward 4, and he will remain in his position there unless something unforeseen is going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing in the numbers yet. But I don't anticipate that being the case. So at this point, we'll update a couple of these other numbers, of course, but we are starting to see what 2026 is going to look like in the supervisors. Just starting to see it, yet so much is up in the air. So much is up in the air. So stay tuned. The last update we received was at 10:03 p.m., which is now 15 minutes ago. And we are waiting. We're waiting for some new numbers to come in. Thank you so much for everybody that's sitting in late night, kind of watching these numbers come in. I really appreciate that, and it's nice to know that so many people have such an interest in what's going on. And like I said a while ago, this is my kind of the political Super Bowl. We've spent the last year, maybe even the last couple of years, watching decisions that were made, questions that were asked. Hold on a second. Did we get anything else coming in here? It kind of flashed at me, so it makes me want to look. I'm not yet seeing any significant changes. Okay. We're seeing a culmination of all of the conversations that we've had in the last 12 to 24 months. People literally go into the ballot box and making decisions based on everything that's happened. And a lot has happened. We talked a bit ago about the transparency changes that have happened in the last several months, with live streaming of these meetings starting to happen. The supervisor meeting was live streamed in August, and that's been a welcome change. And we, even though they haven't posted some of those other meetings, I don't really have any reason to think that they won't do that in the future, where they're posting for review after the fact on the township website. Hopefully we see that change here shortly. But they seem to indicate that that's their plan. So that's pretty good. Still a lot of questions about transparency. Still a lot of conversations just about getting your voice heard. There's still a lot of people with those with the various zoning changes that happened in 2023 and 2024 that have taken effect here, and people care a lot about that and are showing up to vote on these things. So that's amazing, and I love seeing that. We had a lot of conversations about development. If you were able to tune into any of the Meet the Candidate events, or the candidates that came and sat down with me and talked for a while about the issues that are important to them, everybody seems to care so much about development in West Deer, how to do it, how to maintain the rural look and feel that we've, or many of us have grown up with here. And how do you balance that? That's the question. Every candidate had a conversation with me about how do you balance those two things. We want people to want to come to West Deer. That's a good thing. How do we do that in the best possible way without negatively impacting our infrastructure or negatively impacting our roads, our traffic, our school district? A lot of these PRDs that have come into the district have been, kind of a 55 and up communities that have come in here, which is interesting. It has its pros and cons. It certainly is a way that you can get more people in here to enjoy West Deer with the rest of us, without just throwing a ton of kids at our schools and having to handle an increased load. So that's something that they have taken into consideration in the past, and that's something that they're, when the planning committee hears these conversations from developers wanting to come in, these are things that they're talking about. Every developer in 2025 that came in and talked about development that they want to do in West Deer, they are definitely all talking about how will it affect our roads? How will it affect emergency services that might need to get in to some of these now more densely populated parts of West Deer? And they're really spirited conversations sometimes. They're interesting conversations. They're not unique to West Deer by any stretch. We had conversations this year about a variety of ordinances that affect us. We had a kind of controversial solar ordinance that was passed in West Deer, and it seemed like everybody was actually in agreement that a solar ordinance is 100% a good thing to do, and something that deserves our attention and our time to make sure that we again kind of protect our township, protect the look and feel of what we're doing, but still allow for people to take advantage of solar and the various benefits that brings us. So very controversial. That was talked about into throughout the end of the summer and into the beginning of the fall, where where folks were trying to figure out the ordinance that was passed, is that the right ordinance for Westier Township, or should it go back to the drawing board and tailor an ordinance that better fits Westier? That was really the question that I think everybody was asking, of those that were opposing it. Ultimately, that ordinance was passed and in effect, and it does protect. It does offer protections against what some might find to be unwelcome development in some of our areas that either are residential or border residential areas. But it did open up a lot of additional conversation that I think was very, very good with other things that are kind of happening in 2025. And a lot of that has to do with these computer data centers. You know, we're all kind of watching and biting our fingernails when it comes to AI and what that's going to do for us or not. But with that advancement in technology, what it gives us is a need for these data centers, these essentially warehouses that store computers that are just doing this amazing, this crazy data processing. When you do that, you know, you might think it's not a big deal, but computers, when they're running, they run very, very hot. That's why there's fans in the back of all of our computers, because you need to cool these things down as they're going. AI generates a lot of data processing, which causes these processors to get very, very hot. And when you multiply that by thousands of machines and thousands of devices, you know, in a single building or in a series of buildings, you have to find a way to cool this equipment down that's running very, very hot. And you do that, frankly, with fans, as you might expect, I guess. And fans can be loud and noisy in this quantity. So communities around the country that have brought in these data processing warehouses, the biggest complaint against them isn't that it's an eyesore. You can do things about that, I suppose. It's the noise that it creates. And that is something that was brought up as the solar ordinance conversations were starting to wind down, I should say. And what we ended up doing, I believe, at the end of that is we took to the planning committee. We proposed a number of workshops over there so that citizens can join and participate in, and really kind of suss out all of the various things, such as the noise that it might bring to the community. How do we protect ourselves from that? Very similar to these conversations that we've had with solar, but maybe even more important than solar, because it really could have an impact. So it's good that, you know, however you felt about where we were playing with the solar ordinance, whether you liked how that played out or not, it certainly sparked a lot of conversation for where we're going forward. So very, very cool. All right, we're going to wait for our next update. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be back with you guys in a second. And we'll be back in just a second. We'll talk about where we're going with this. There's a number of other things I think that happened in our community that I think are worthy of us kind of going over. Kind of a year in review that led us to wherever we are right now. I'll be right back. All right, I'm taking a look at the numbers. I don't see anything that has changed in the last 2 minutes. Very much appreciate you guys sticking around. Let's take a quick look at the actual races as they are being reported right now by Allegheny County. All right. So no major changes here. Really not any changes since we last talked. So that we got the last update we received was at 10:19. Excuse me, that was 13 minutes ago. If you are just joining us, or if you stepped away for a little bit and are coming back, let's make that a little bigger. We've pretty much called in Ward 4, we've called it for Josh Wiggin. We have all the precincts that I've reported there, so we have all the precincts plus the mail-ins. I'm just going to see if anything has changed in those numbers at all, because these are, just so you know, these are all unofficial results. Yep. So at this point, it looks like we're going to see Josh Wiggin holding his position. There was a write-in campaign in Ward 2 that with one of the two precincts reporting in already, we're just going to go ahead and say that's going to go to Bill Payne. Because although it did make some significant, advancement. I mean, 42 write-ins is significant in half of those. So we, that might even get up, in the ballpark of 100. But before it's all said and done. But it's not going to be enough. For our tax collector, Dorothy Milbert is going to be our tax collector this year, and I'm not really updating those numbers anymore. We know we've seen enough to know kind of where those are going to go. She ran unopposed, as did our judge of elections. So we're just going to go ahead and call those, obviously. But it's these two at the top. We are still neck and neck in our at-large race, with Mark Schmidt holding a very tight lead of under 100 votes, 2,000 votes on the dot to 1,931 votes by Vince McCurry. And in Ward 1, we see just, under 20 votes with one district reporting in. Nicole Zeeland holding a lead of 441 to 425. We may be getting an update here in a second. Let me pull that up so we get it together. If it's anything at all. Okay. If anything has changed here. I see some very minor adjustments to some of the numbers so far. Which we'll update here in a second. Still neck and neck, of course. No additional precincts reporting in Ward 1, so we still have kind of half of our result there. And a very tight race for our at-large candidates. Okay, let's update the spreadsheet again. Just some very slight changes I see on here. Let's get those in here. All right. School director positions. Majernik now has 2452. Again, these are all going to be very minor changes. Christine Minnick, 2685. Jeremy Love, 2641. Darlene Luddy, 2285. Dominic Distillo, 2084. 60 write-in votes. Some minor updates to the numbers here. Supervisor at large race. Mark Schmidt's going to go from 2000 to 2004. Vince McCurry is going to go from 1931 to 1933. And 21 write-ins. Everything's significant in Ward 1. Nicole Zealand, they've adjusted a couple of numbers. She now has 442. Jeff Fleming has 426. They each picked up one vote. One write-in. So far, with one of two precincts reporting in for District 1, 869 votes cast. Just some small adjustments here. And Ward 4, 943 votes. He's Josh Wiggin. They adjusted him to 943. And David Harrison's 441. Bill Payne, those numbers are not going to change. While we're at it, just a couple of things. Betsy Harrison, these are races that were already called a long time ago, but for those watching, we have 646 votes. These are going to be pretty darn close to the final tally in District 8. And 90 write-ins. I heard some people talking about a campaign there for write-ins, and it does appear that was the case, with a relatively significant number of write-ins there. So congratulations to Miss Harrison. Let's get a couple of these other ones just kind of updated here. Annette Locke has 300, is going to go from 304 to 305. For a total of 319 votes cast, all precincts reporting. Judge of Election, West Deer District 2. That district has not reported in yet. Dina Zurielis has 25. They've adjusted her to 25. Total votes, no write-ins, for a total of 25 votes cast without the District 2 precinct reporting in yet. In District 1, though, we do have we do have some final numbers there. Sherry Sweeney is going to end up with in the ballpark of 607. Total votes, 24 write-ins. Yes, Sam Smallwood, you're right. That's just these little minor changes. I always wonder what's happening there. You know, I don't think anything nefarious is happening, but you know, where did those 3 votes come from? You know, I don't exactly know. I don't exactly know, but you know, I'm sure somebody could tell us. You just have to be so careful, and especially when you look at these, Ward 1 in the at-large race, so close. You know, if somebody's ballot, like slid behind the table, heaven forbid, that should never happen, of course, but that could make a difference. That could make a difference. But really exciting. I very much enjoy. This is why people come out. Your votes make a difference, especially in these small elections. Holy cow. In these small elections and during these kind of off years, I tell people their votes are like, you have like super votes in these types of elections because fewer people come out to vote, so your vote is more significant. But in these local elections, they're election to election, they tend to just be they're all equally important. Our last update was at 10:37. 9 minutes ago. Thank you guys for watching these election results come in with me. I love it so much. And it's so fun to just be able to share this time with other people that care. And I think some of those people are some of these candidates that, that you see on this list. They're watching too. I mean, this is a big deal for those folks that are trying to do what they can to serve their community, to serve us, to put their kind of neck out on the line. It's amazing. It's amazing. We should thank every one of these people. I was out at Westier Volunteer Fire Department number 1 today, which is sort of close to my house, which makes sense, right? But you know, it's interesting. You know, you're standing out there, and you know, we have this close race in you know, in 1 between Nicole Zealand, Jeff Fleming. They were both out there talking to people, shaking hands, just kind of just having, you know, good everyday conversations with people. And it's interesting to get to know these folks. You know, maybe we lose a little bit of that as we as our society kind of switches to less communal ways of voting. But it's still nice to go out there as people are walking into these precincts and, you know, pulling their proverbial levers for the people that they think are worthy of taking these various positions. But it sparks a lot of conversations. I mean, I met a lot of people I have never met before as we just talk about things. And sometimes we're talking about the election and sometimes we're not. And it's nice. You know, I hope we don't ever lose that. I hope we don't ever lose that, because it's nice to go out and talk with people and meet with people and discuss things, you know, that are important to them. So very, very cool. It was so fun meeting a lot of you guys today. I wasn't really at any of the other districts this time around. During the primaries, I drove around from polling place to polling place just to kind of see what was going on. And, you know, of course, in the primaries, there's even fewer people coming out and voting. But still, it's good stuff. And I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun talking with you guys. We are really waiting on a couple of things. In the school district, we're waiting to see who our top 4 are going to be in the school district. It's starting to really look like it's going to be Majernik, Minnick, Love, and Luddy. But we can't count out our final candidate because there are still 3 districts that are out and that haven't reported yet. And we don't know the demographic makeup of that. And just as I said that, they all just came in. Here we go. Breaking news. They may have all just come in. Hold tight. We're going to look at this together. All right, guys, 11 out of 11 precincts reporting for the school board. We see Love, Minnick, Majernik, and Luddy with the top 4 candidates, and honestly, very, very close all the way around. Let's just get to it. 8 out of 8 precincts reporting. Supervisor at large, Vince McCurry with 2237. And Mark Schmidt, 2203 and 23 write-ins. If that holds, again, we see numbers change here and there. If that holds, Vince McCurry is going to be our new at-large supervisor. So again, these all just came in, so they are what they are. Supervisor, Ward 1, Jeff Fleming, 574 votes. Nicole Zealand, 542 votes. 2 write-ins. Which, if that holds, Jeff Fleming would maintain his position as the Ward 1 supervisor. Amazing. Let's go on down. These other elections that have been more solidified, we see no significant changes there. We are going to have Bill Payne that's going to be representing West Deer in District 2. We see Josh Wiggins, who's going to be representing District 4 as the incumbent. So we have two incumbents that are going to be coming back with Wiggins and Fleming, potentially. Again, if these numbers hold, these are all unofficial results in very, very, very tight races. And for our school directors, we see Love, Minnick, Majernik, and Luddy currently with 11 out of 11 districts. It's looking like it's we're finalizing everything. So let's just see how final we're going. Look at this at-large race. If this holds, McCurry wins with about, 30 votes? And 23 write-ins. Look how significant your votes are. District 1, 30 votes again. 1,118 people came out. 574 to 542. Amazing. Amazing. Let's take a look at District 1 now that we have really the other half of all of this coming in. All right, so we're in Ward 1. In Ward 1, District 1, Fleming came in with 50.24% of the votes at 411 to 406. Ward 1, District 2. Jeff Fleming got 54% of the votes at 163 votes to Nicole Zealand 136 with a 55 to 45 split over there. 300 total votes cast in Ward 1, District 2 compared to 818 cast in Ward 1, District 1. Amazing. Amazing. This is, you got to come vote. All of you that went out and voted today, think of how important your vote was. Just think about that. Think about that. It's amazing. Let's update our spreadsheet with the numbers that we have right now, and let's congratulate some people. All right, we have some updating to do. Let's full screen this because who the hell cares what I look like? This is what matters. All right. Let's plug them in. Let's start with the school director positions. Majernik's going to finish up. Again, these are all unofficial results. Unofficial results, right? So you might not get official results until tomorrow or longer. Hold on. Dang. Majernik. Okay. 2776. Minnick is going to finish up with 3,022. Jeremy Love, 3,030. Darlene Luddy, 2632. Dominic Distillo, 2470. All right. That's a done deal. Let's do the supervisors first, and then we'll tighten everything else up here. Vince McCurry, with 100% of the precincts in, 2237 to 2203, which means just like that, that changes and that changes. Similarly, Ward 1, both precincts have now reported in, as we talked about a few minutes ago. At this point, the unofficial final numbers: Nicole Zeeland with 542, Jeff Fleming 574, 2 write-ins, 100% in. And just like that, that's what it looks like. This election, at this point unofficially, our winners are going to be Vince McCurry, Jeff Fleming, Josh Wigand, Bill Payne. So congratulations to all of our winners. And honestly, to all of our candidates. What an amazing race that everybody has put on. Super Bowl. I told you it's the Super Bowl of politics. You got to watch it. All right, let's get the rest of this stuff done. While we're at it, Bill Payne. He's going to finish up with 547, 73 write-ins. Total of 620 votes cast, 100% of the votes in, of course. And that is a done deal. Tax collector, let's go ahead and just finalize this. Dorothy Milbert, her final tally is going to be 3879, 42 write-ins, 100% of the votes in. Congratulations, Dorothy. And congratulations, Bill Payne. Okay. Judge of elections. Deanna Zorlias. Well, one of one, I guess, obviously. Precincts reporting in. She ended up with 221 votes. And 1 write-in. Excuse me, 4 write-ins. A total of 225 votes cast in her direction. With 100% now, with a 1 of 1 reporting in. Judge of elections, Annette Locke. I just want to see if any numbers change, because we already have that precinct reporting in. So 305 and 14 write-ins for a total of 319 votes cast. Congratulations, Miss Locke. Inspector of election. Sherry Sweeney. 607 votes in, 24 write-ins, 100% of the precincts reporting in. Well, 1 of 1, obviously. And congratulations, Miss Sweeney. Inspector of election, District 8. with 100% in, obviously, Ms. Harrison received 646 votes in her favor, 90 write-in votes. Congratulations, Ms. Harrison. What an amazing day. Wins on both sides. If you judge an election by Democrat versus Republican, really not a great thing to do in local elections. We're not, as somebody said to me in one of my interviews, we're not. It really doesn't matter too much, what you think about immigration in these elections, or if you're pro-life or not. These are human beings, local human beings. These are our neighbors that want to represent our community. And we saw some people that are going to be sticking around. We're going to see some new faces across the board. And it's going to be very, very interesting. Once again, I just can't say it enough that these are unofficial numbers. So when we say goodbye here in a little bit, these are going to be probably very close, but in the next day or upcoming days, you may see some very slight changes here and there. I'm going to run through it one last time before we adjourn. It's now 5 after 11, and I think everybody's ready to say goodbye, including me and including my dog who's sitting behind me, ready to wondering why I haven't taken her outside yet. So we're going to do that here shortly. At-large candidate in 2026, Vince McCurry. Supervisor in Ward 1, Jeff Fleming. Supervisor in Ward 2, Bill Payne. Supervisor in Ward 4 is going to be Josh Wiggin. Footnote, Ward 3, it wasn't up for grabs this year. That is still going to be maintained by John Hollenbaugh. Tax collector, Dorothy Milbert. Judges of election in District 2 and 4, Deanna Zoralias and Annette Locke. Inspector of elections in Districts 1 and 8, Sherry Sweeney, Betsy Harrison. Our 4 appointed school directors are going to be Jonathan Majernik, Christine Minnick, Jeremy Love, Darlene Luddy. Congratulations to all of you, and congratulations to all of our candidates. It was a pleasure talking with you all over the last year as you've run your campaigns, and I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of it. We're going to sign off now. If you have the opportunity and you want to throw me a bone, you can do it for free. Just hit like. It does some magic to the algorithm and is good for me somehow. Or hit subscribe. That is so amazing when you do that, because that really kind of helps get not just videos like this, but other videos that I put out that are sometimes very opinionated and sometimes not. Sometimes I'm just, interviewing folks and talking to them. I'd love to get that out to as many people as possible. If you're interested, if you care, I really do appreciate it when you can subscribe to the channel. And then we get to talk more and more often together. Find me on Facebook as well. I have a channel on Facebook called Westier Steve that supports this YouTube channel. And thank you guys so much. I'll be talking to you guys in the upcoming days. There's so much news about the fire department coming out, about open records requests that are out there from a variety of sources that we have to talk about. There's man, there's things going to court very, very soon that are going to affect us, and we're here to talk about them. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thanks a lot for spending the time with me. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.